The Greater Hyannis Civic Association gets some attention from Town Council. Details on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Thursday, April 18th, 2013. I'm Sarah Colvin. Town councilors met with the Greater Hyannis Civic Association at Town Hall Wednesday night in an informal session. Councilors and Civic Association members sat at the same table and talked for about an hour and a half on a wide range of issues, from things like solid waste all the way to the reuse of the Hyannis Armory building. Civic Association member Bob Seal talks about the purpose of the meeting.
The focus and the tone of this meeting to be much more informal. It's our hope that we have a more casual and courteous exchange of views and questions and comments about a range of issues that are of interest to the people who live in Hyannisport and West Hyannisport.
The first issue tackled by the group, solid waste. Council President Dr. Deborah Dagwan provided an update.
To cover a little bit about what the council has done. And we've had a workshop. Our first workshop was with the Renewable Energy Group, January the 31st. So we did get together, and what they did was, present to us, their concept, and they also gave out a survey. And that survey has been going around. They're trying to collect information, as you were saying, and we've also put the survey on the iForm, and they've had a little trip going around to all the civic associations, I think, as well, to try to get feedback from them on the solid waste issue. Our basic goal is to get to get residents to recycle more. That seems to be what the major issue that we're trying to do. We want to reduce the trash and increase the cycling rate. Right now, our cycling rate is 16% in Barnstable. Well, that's what's being projected at this moment, and we just want to be more efficient and cost effective. That seems to be the big drawback. We don't, as you said, we don't have enough information just yet. We don't have a lot from our private haulers. Right now, currently, the estimates I got from some of the private haulers had to do with people paying anywhere from $140 a month to $300 and $400, and some paying more than that a month, depending on whether they're asking their patrons to take the recyclables. And so it does become more expensive when you add the recycling to picking up the trash. The other issue had to do with something both of you just said, that we have seniors in town, and there's a lot of them complain about, well, if you have pay as you throw, and I got to drag this bag to the end of the road or the driveway or some kind of cart. That's an issue for them. So, there are some human issues that we will also have to address. But I just wanted to say that we have another workshop coming up on solid waste for May 23rd, and the idea of that is to get the haulers in to talk with them a little bit about getting how we can get a little more information from them on how they recycle, because that's information we don't have right now.
Medical marijuana, also an issue that came up in the evening. Hyannis resident Peter Cross had questions.
It's Peter Cross. I live in Hyannis, and I'm a Hyannis native. And I have just a statement and then a question that I want to ask you as our Hyannis counselors. And that is, my statement is, when this question of medical marijuana first popped up, somebody like a jack-in-the-box, let's make the medical marijuana district right down by the hospital. And I started thinking about all the other services that are on South Street in the hospital. And as you just said, and we have not had a conversation about this, we're saturated. Would you, as Hyannis counselors, push to have the medical marijuana dispensary outside of Hyannis? That's my question. Would you push to have it in another district? Now, I can think of all kinds of places. No, I'm not even talking about Dennis. If it had to be in the town of Barnstable, because somebody's going to say, oh, we got to have one in the town of Barnstable, we're the biggest town, blah-de-blah. You're going to hear that. Would you, as our counselors, encourage your fellow counselors to look at places other than Hyannis? Thank you.
Yeah, I would, and I would also say that the hospital is opposed to putting it down there, and they've been willing to give us a little bit of funds for the study, which we haven't asked them for, but basically because they don't want it in that area. either.
The importance of the Hyannis Library was also discussed. Councillor Jen Cullum talked about the community connection.
And I think one thing, Gloria, you didn't mention about the outreach into the community is that there's three things. There's the English as a second language programs that are taught out of that library that are crucial. My old neighbors from Pakistan learned English there, which is phenomenal. That's just phenomenal. And the child care and children's programs that are just so important to developmental issues and things that kids have. And third, the thing that I really love about the library is the outreach to seniors and the book delivery system that's there. And I mean, that coupled with, or all together with all the other things I've mentioned, I'll always support the library.
Thank you.
Any, Gloria?
Just one last thing in response to Anne. The formula was changed by a small group that we're probably going to examine that again, because at the time that formula was given to the town library system, it changed the percentage to Hyannis Library, and we lost some thousands because of it. And so it's based on, so we're still struggling with the loss of that percentage. And the second point that I wanted to make was that we do a lot of outreach, but unfortunately, because we have so many transients who use the library, they're not able to contribute or donate to large fundraisers. We have a smaller pocket of people who can contribute when you relate it to most of the other villages. So I wanted to be certain that that information is apparent to people.
Council President Dr. Deborah Dagwan is a part of the Hyannis Armory Review Committee. She spoke when the issue of what is to become of that building came up.
And same thing you're talking about, the parking issues. We really worked on addressing that issue and looked around, and they came up with, lots of great solutions themselves about, maybe having a place where they'd have their own little trolley or bus, someplace where people could come and then you could bring them to the museum as well. But we also own the parking lot for the Red Cross. That's parking that people, don't often think of. And they're looking at running this museum from 9 to 9. But basically from 4 in the afternoon on, there's really, that lot's not really covered or taken up. They're looking to put 60 spaces over near the armory. But they may have to get some release to expand the parking over there, and charging people to come in and park for maybe 2 hours or so in there, and some kind of system of marking the cars that they don't stay longer than that, which shouldn't take them that long to go through their little pirate museum, so that the turnover, they can get more people in there. This applicant is spending $2.5 million here. The town isn't spending anything. You don't get that often. Almost never do you get somebody that comes in and wants to put that kind of money down, and he's really working hard to see that this succeed. It is his money, and we're if he pulls out, and we're not looking for anybody to pull out anytime soon, we're trying to make sure that certain kinds of things are put into the agreement. But if he does, we're left with a much better building, an improved building that we can take from there and move forward. And the other thing I like about it is that they're interested in keeping that historical perspective of JFK having his speech in there in some way. Matter of fact, one of the applicants or co-applicant was a friend of JFK, and has some pictures and stuff of things.
The Greater Hyannis Civic Association has brought councilors together several times in the past. This was the first so-called informal session. You can watch the entire meeting online at town.barnstable.ma.us. With Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Colvin.